Hello friends, myself Nagamani. In this video, we are going to discuss about theories of management. Management theories are the concepts which recommends management strategies. They may include tools, example, frameworks and guidelines that can be implemented in modern organizations. Management theories are the set of general rules that guide the managers to manage an organization. Theories are an explanation to assist employees to effectively relate to the business goals and implement effective means to achieve the same goals. There are different general management theories are in use. Some of the theories are as mentioned on the screen: Frederick Taylor's theory of scientific management, Henry Fayol administrative management theory, Max Weber bureaucratic theory of management, Elton Mayo's behavioral theory of management, general systems theory, X and Y management theory, and Kurt Lewin field theory. The first theory to discuss is Frederick Taylor's theory of scientific management. Frederick Winslow Taylor was an American mechanical engineer who sought to improve industrial efficacy. Taylor's theory of scientific management aimed at improving economic efficiency, especially labor productivity. So, Taylor is regarded as the father of scientific management, and he was also one of the first management consultant. Taylor believed that the management could be formulated as an academic discipline and that the best results would come from the partnership between a trained and qualified management and a cooperative and innovative workforce. That means each side needed the other, and there was no need for trade unions. So, with mutual consultation, with mutual comfort, both the consultant as well as the qualified management can work together and also can achieve their goals. Taylor's differential piece rate plan includes: if efficiency is greater than the defined standard, then the worker should be paid with 120% of normal piece rate. If efficiency is less than standard, then workers should be paid 80% of normal piece rate. So this is a piece rate given by Taylor. So Taylor's principles of scientific management includes, especially he has given four principles of scientific management. As the first principle is replace rule of thumb. Replace rule of thumb work method with methods based on a scientific study of the task. That means divide work nearly equally between managers as well as workers, so that managers apply scientific principles of management in planning the work. The second principle is scientifically select, train, and develop each employee rather than passively leaving them to train themselves. The third principle is provide detailed instruction and supervision of each worker in the performance of that worker's discrete task. The fourth principle given by Taylor is establish fair levels of performance and pay a premium for higher performance. These principles of scientific management given by Taylor were published in the year 1911. They are also identified as Taylorism. And he is also recognized for integrating his ideas of earlier theories like Henry Fayol, and he has integrated his ideas into a comprehensive theory of administration. And he also wrote a book which is called as The Elements of Business Administration, which was published in the year 1943. The second most important theory is Henry Fayol's administrative management theory. Henry Fayol was a French mining engineer, mining executive. He was an author and director of mines who developed general theory of business administration that is also called as Fayolism. Henry Fayol, known as the father of management, laid down basic main functions of management. The five functions of FOIL are: first one is to forecast and to plan. That means examine the future and draw a plan of action. So first one is to forecast and plan. The second function of FOIL is to organize. To organize means build up the structure, material and human of the undertaking. The third function is to command. To command means maintain activity among the personnel. To coordinate. To coordinate means bind together, unify and harmonious activity and effort. The fifth function of FOIL is to control. To control means see that everything occurs in community with policy and practice. FOIL's these five functions are the basis for today's management process and its functions. FOIL also synthesized 14 principles for organizational design and effective administration. So the 14 principles of management includes division of work, equity, discipline, initiative, authority and responsibility, esprit de corps, subordination of individual interest, general interest, stability of tenure, remuneration, unity of direction, centralization, scalar chain, order, and unity of command. These principles will be discussed in detail in subsequent lectures. The next theory of management is Max Weber's bureaucratic theory of management. Maximilian Karl Emil Weber was a German lawyer. He was a politician, sociologist, and economist. He made distinction between authority and power. Weber believed that power includes obedience through force or the threat of force which induces individuals to adhere to regulations. According to Max Weber, there are mainly three types of power will be there in an organization: traditional power, charismatic power, and bureaucratic power or legal power. Managers use these type of powers in managing the bureaucracy. A group of workers is referred to as the bureaucracy. So bureaucracy is the name of the organizational form which is used by sociologists and organizational design professionals. So this bureaucracy has an informal usage. So Max Weber has given certain features, or we can also call it as principles of Weber, includes division of labor. So division of labor includes each level controls, so the level below and it is controlled by the level above. So a formal hierarchy is the basis of central planning and centralized decision making. So division of labor is very important according to the levels of management. Then the second one is formal hierarchical structure. Third one is selection should be based on the technical expertise. That means work is to be done by only specialists and people are organized into units based on the type of work, based on their skills and qualifications. Then the fourth principle is management by rules. So management by rules includes controlling by rules allows decisions made at high levels to be executed consistently by all the lower levels. Then the next principle given by Weber is written documents. So written documents plays an important role in managing any organization. Then only legal power is important. So legal power, which includes also bureaucratic power, is very important. It helps to manage the organization effectively. Then the last principle of Weber is formal and impersonal relationships. So always we should have formal relationships, means a therapeutic relationship should be there. So the idea is to treat all employees equally, and also the customers also we need to consider equally and not be influenced by individual differences. So consider formal as well as impersonal relations. So the next principle of management includes Elton Mayo's behavioral theory of management. Elton Mayo was an Australian-born psychologist. He was an industrial researcher and organizational theorist. Mayo's work helped to lay the foundation for the human relations movement. Elton Mayo's experiments showed an increase in worker productivity was produced by the psychological stimulus of being singled out, involved, and made to feel important. And the Hawthorne effect means it can be summarized as employees will respond positively to any novel change in work environment like better illumination, clean workstations, relocating work stations, etc. So employees are more productive because they know they are being studied. So according to Elton, psychological stimulus and motivation helps workers to work more productively. So the next theory of management is general systems theory. So in 1940, biologist Ludwig von Bertalanffy created his general systems theory. He believed that our body is the sum of all parts. Example, a nervous system works together with our digestive system, which work with each organ and muscle group to allow a person to function. If one function of the body fails to work, the body as a whole cannot effectively operate. So, humans are most healthy and functional when all aspects of their beings are working together effectively. He also argued that the environment can have an effect on each of its body parts. So, a broken leg can prevent you from walking, or the flu can have you bedridden for some days. Each of these issues can damage the overall productivity of a person. So, his work shows that external factors can prove to be toxic to an environment. So, negativity and other toxic outlooks can have a harmful effect on motivation and performance at all levels in an organization. And like his theory states, even when only one component of the organization is not executing properly, it will have an undesirable effect on the rest of the organization. So, according to Ludwig, organizations are open systems, so that are they have constantly interact with all the external environments. Example, it will interact with the input, may interact with the transformation process, output, and also feedback. So these are the basis for systems theory. That means the input, transformation process, outputs, and feedbacks. So this system theory has had a significant effect on management science and understanding organizations. So the next theory is X and Y management theory. So this theory was developed by Douglas McGregor, developed the X and Y management theory in the 1950s and 1960s, and arguing that all managers can be grouped into two categories, that is category X and category Y. The first category known as theory X, which explains that managers have a negative view of their employees and believe that employees need to be forced or coaxed into working. So this theory X managers tend to micromanage with the belief that employees will not motivate themselves to complete their work. And this theory also can be linked back to the scientific management theory and its focus on output above employee development. And so on the opposite side of the spectrum, the second category is group Y. So theory Y managers believe that employees are inherently motivated to work. So theory Y managers value the importance of helping their employees to thrive by providing opportunities for learning and their development. So this theory Y is focused on the idea of team versus independent work. McGregor argued that a team environment paired with an emphasis on individual professional development will produce better results and a healthier work environment. So theory Y continues to prove its relevance and is still present in today's business world. The next theory is Kurt Lewin field theory. Kurt Lewin was a German-American psychologist and often recognized as the founder of social psychology. So Levin's theory is also called as field theory, as to a psychologist field means the total psychological world in which a person lives at a certain time. Levin also states that each person exists within a field of forces. The field of forces to which the individual is responding or reacting is called as his life space. So Levin identified mainly three stages of change. Levin three-step model change theory includes unfreeze, change and refreeze stages. So unfreeze the current behaviors and processes. That means it ensures that employees are ready for the change. So we need to unfreeze the current state of the individual and help them to get change. Then make the changes we require. That means execute the intended change. Then practice and freeze the new behaviors and practices into everyday actions. So it ensures that the change becomes permanent. So this state is called as refreeze. So these are the three stages or three-step model given by Levin. So which are unfreeze, change and refreeze. So these are the various theories of management. So let's continue with subsequent lectures. Thank you.